For this problem, we want to find the distance between the points given, and those points are -3, 5, and 7, -4. Now we are given 2 points, and we're going to use the distance formula, so let's write that. Our distance formula is the square root, d equals the square root of x2 minus x1 all squared plus y2 minus y1 all squared. Okay, so in order to use this formula, we need to label these points. Let's do that. So this will be x1 and y1, and this is our second point, so this will be x2 and y2. Let's use this information to plug into our formula. Now be very careful when you're plugging in to make sure that if there is a number that is negative, that you're putting parentheses around that, especially with these negative signs hanging out here inside these parentheses. Okay, so our x2 in this problem is 7 minus our x1 is -3. So this would be a case where we would want that -3 on the in parentheses there. And then all of that's going to be squared plus y2 is -4 minus y1 is 5 all squared. So you could actually just plug all of this into the calculator, but I also see that sometimes students really mess up with the signs. So I would say just if you are going to plug it in your calculator, be very careful and make sure you put these parentheses exactly how you just, or how I just wrote it, okay? If you're not going to do that, you could simplify this next step manually. So 7, this would be 7 plus 3 squared plus -9 squared. This is going to end up being 10 squared plus -9 squared, which ends up being 100 plus 81. And when you put that in the calculator, it ends up just giving you square root of 181. So this is not simplifiable, as in if I sat there and try to figure out what numbers would multiply to give me 181, I'm not going to be able to write this as a simplified radical. So anytime that maybe you're asked for the exact value, they're asking for the value with the radical if it cannot be simplified. So whatever the simplified radical is, which in this case, this is the simplified radical, that would be your exact value. Now, if they're asking for an approximation, that's going to be the decimal value. So in this case, if I try to do the approximation of that, I would have to press a button on my calculator to give me the decimal. Depending on your calculator, it really just depends if your calculator does give you back radicals or if it's giving you decimals. So it just depends on what calculator you have. In my case, I'm getting 13.4536, and I want to round to 3 decimals here. So this 6 is going to make this 3 go up to a 4. So let me just write it that way. So this is going to be 5.4. That would be your approximate value. And that would be how you found the distance formula.